Grand Rising. This is the Straight Talk Morning Show. My name is Andre Hill. I'm your host, and we are in Southern Georgia. We on tribal land. This is what the whole movement is all about. We have a full staff. I had a leader to ask me when I posted the show yesterday. Well, what do we do? And so we're going to talk about that on the show today. But first of all, I'm here. Mama Kelly is also here. We with other tribal leaders. How you doing this morning, Mama Kelly?
Oh, I'm doing great. We have just had a marvelous time here. There are three sisters who are here. In the tribal house. We slept at the tribal house, and we had maybe about 20 uh, members of the Kitawa Nation. We've come together to, welcome or to just celebrate um, our chief, Betty Smith. She is the chief of the Deep South Cherokee Kitawa Nation. And this is tribal land, been in her family for the longest time. And so there are about 30 people here last night, all crowded in this room. It was absolutely wonderful. We had food, it was a meet and greet. People from, different parts of the world came in, and I just heard there's a sister from Haiti coming in, and her plane, got uh, delayed up there in New York, but we are here. And we will be looking at this farmland around here. This is just a beautiful area. It's a beautiful area. Georgia's beautiful anyway, but this is a beautiful area here. So we've been really enjoying each other, meeting each other, finding out that we are of one mind. And so this is it. That's why I wanted to bring the brother here so he could see, what our possibilities are with joining up with other tribes.
So we're going to get into that today as to the benefits of being part of a tribe, and there's power in numbers. Hey, Chairman, how are things up in D.C.? I mean, not D.C., Detroit. I don't know where I get the D.C. from.
Grand Rising, everyone. It's better now, but last night we had some 75-degree wind. It was like a tornado was gonna kick up. Man, it was blowing trees down. People were losing power. In fact, my wife's aunt came over because she lost her power and spent the night with us, but it's back on, so they're gone about taking care of some business. But it was scary for a while. But I've never seen the wind
Wow.
be that disturbed for so long. It was like maybe 12 hours of nothing but wind, blowing stuff all
Whoa.
over everywhere. But it's gone now. It's a peaceful day, kind of sunny even, put a smile on the face.
All right. Well, we definitely we're looking forward to getting the updates on 3i. Hey, Junior. So I'm just getting in South Georgia. It's a little brisk here. Has it warmed up there yet in
Oh
Tampa?
yeah, oh yeah, sunny skies and warm weather down in South Florida, man. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So today's topics, there's several topics. We're going to talk about the benefits of being part of a tribal, what you call,
Confederation.
confederation, and also the benefits of having an economic system, a built-in tribal economic system is better than the European one or the Caucasoid one that we've been operating in. Because I got some statistics here to show you if you put your money and investment and time and a state into a business in that European design, the chances of you succeeding are nil. So we're also going to talk about, we ran across news. It was on the news about some of the enlisted people complaining about a CEO, a commanding officer, telling the troops that you're in this because Jesus has anointed Trump to start Armageddon, and this is yeah. Oh my goodness, so we're gonna talk about that. I got that a clip. Also, there was a video came out about an Asian man. He was explaining how one particular group is the root of the problems to everything on the planet, even though he used the term white people. But it's not just white people. It's some of our people that have assimilated. And so, how did that come about? That's one of the topics of discussion. Of course, the chairman is going to give us our 3I Atlas update. So here's something that we need to understand as the Aboriginal, the true indigenous people of this land. We technically, there have been economic sanctions against us for 400 years. They had to play the game like we were inclusive, but they never intended for us to be inclusive. And so what we want to break down is how opening up a business in our tribal collective, you have a built-in customer base, you have built-in employees, and in the financing, the tribe will seek the financing for you. All you have to do is come in and perfect whatever you're doing and teach and train the youth, and you'll have unlimited business to exchange all over the world. So I'm going to show a comparison of the statistics of now that you're laid off or been fired out of the federal government, if you try and go open up a business in this European system, the average lifespan of a black-owned, I'm gonna use black-owned because that's how we've been recognized, but we are Aboriginal. Business is generally shorter than the national average. High failure rates within the first few years due to systemic challenges. We know those systemic challenges are basically racism, and that is what has contributed to the failure rate. High early failure rates, approximately 80% within the first 18 months. So if you go borrow money through the SBA or the banks and you collateralize your property, 80% of you, if you fail, they're going to call the note and take your property. It's a scam, and they know this. And there are systems in place. And I'm not talking about something I read. I go back 3 generations as an entrepreneur, as an Aboriginal American. My grandfather was a naturalist doctor, and he mysteriously had a heart attack at that point in time when the American Medical Association decided they wanted to take over with a new agenda. Also, we had restaurants during the civil rights era and when black folks were allowed to go eat in other restaurants, there was no financing to upgrade our restaurant to compete with them. And so we went into the pie business, and there was a system in place. We that did not want us to become producers. And so they sabotaged us, gave us, loaned us less money, anything they could do to make sure that a business that can create jobs in our community would not succeed. So at any rate, I'm basing this on my experience, and I got many more horror stories, not only with my business, but other businesses. 5-year survival. Out of the 20% that may last beyond 18 months. Out of only half of those will last beyond the first 5 years. So that's cutting it down. Then the long-term survival, 4% will only operate after 3.5 years. And it's a very good chance that that 4% of successful businesses are people that had to go into these either these Illuminati groups and join in, and they were able to get additional funding, but they were still suspects. So, in other words, in order for you to participate into this game, you had to basically sell your soul to stay in the game, and that's a double jeopardy. The factors to these business failing: funding gaps. Funding gaps meaning, once, as I said earlier, high loan denials. When the Aboriginals go into the banks, unless you have a tremendous amount of assets, 20, 30 years, at least 5 to 10 years of business experience in that particular product or service, you most likely you're going to be denied. And even with the SBA guarantee, a lot of those loans are not financed, but they still. And I don't know if the laws have changed since my family went to an SBA loan, but they still call the loans.
Redlining is, real even to this day. I am
Yes.
experiencing it myself right now.
So this is the basis, the case behind. We have to basically come to this realization. This game, the deck was stacked from the beginning, and we cannot rely on our businesses surviving trying to compete in a game where the deck is stacked against you. So what do you do? Well, one of the first things, and I had a local leader out of Tampa that asked the question, well, what do we do? And so, first and foremost, you have to understand that the stock market used our birth certificates as leverage for hundreds of years, for a couple of hundred years, it seemed like to me. And so every time you issued a birth certificate, it would go into a database, and the stock market used that to negotiate with other countries. What we are doing within our tribal nations is we're getting a status correction, and that status correction it gives you, it start the leverage position. Vladimir Putin just got sanctions lifted. He had leverage. All right. And hey, Julian, explain what happens with your status correction, and when we start adding those numbers up to go and negotiate with other countries and negotiate with to get funding, resources, how that happens. But what explain to us the status correction process?
All right, so the process is simple. And first and foremost, family, forgive me if I may have to talk a little slow because I lost my voice earlier this week. So let me lean in and slow it down a little bit, okay? So what is status correction first? Y'all bear with me. So status correction is the reclamation of your race and ethnicity as an Aboriginal American first. Now, that is a political status first. That is a political status. Your race and ethnicity as an Aboriginal American, meaning you are the first inhabitants of this landmass. I mean, let me set it aside for a second. For one, us melanated people with this particular phenotype and the phenotype of the elders that you see on this panel, we're Aboriginal to the planet, first and foremost. We're Aboriginal to the planet. In other words, this phenotype that you see was the first ones on the planet before anybody other phenotype that you see. All right. But that also includes the Americas. Now, so you're going to reclaim that Aboriginal race and ethnicity and that political status. The second thing that happens is your nationality reclamation. Nationality can only come by way of government. We have a tribal government, so we can nationalize you within our tribal government. And when we say you're a national of the government, when we say we the people, we mean that shit over here. They don't mean it over there in their jurisdiction. So when we say you're a national, you're not under the government, meaning you're subject to a crown or anything like that. You are the nation itself. You are the laws that govern the nation. You are the constituents of it. Okay, so the conglomeration of that puts you in position to reclaim this as well. The institutions and the infrastructure that you need to be as self-sustainable as possible. For one, because that's what we have to do here first. We have to become self-sustainable as possible here again, like we used to be. Because we just have to reiterate that as much as possible. I know we've been thrown this narrative that we came from slavery and all this jazz, but the real truth is, when every other culture pulled up to this landmass and they saw us, we was balling. Y'all understand me? we at all times we were much abundant. Architecture, infrastructure, and just our ways of life was always abundant. Especially if you go take a look at any old drawings, renderings, and paintings, you don't count on typically United States renderings or paintings of us in the past. Take a look at some of those other European countries that were making drawings of us. They painted some fairly accurate depictions of us. And when you see it, quite literally, you will see us riding on alligators like pets. Riding on alligators like pets, being carried around and in convoys like royalty. We're not new to that, family. We're used to that. That's where we come from. Okay, so getting back into that state of mind, that state of being, is the only choice you have left. So answer your question, Pops. That's what the status correction really is. So you're going to do a tribal screening first, which is going to include your genealogy. Don't worry too much about DNA tests, because those DNA tests, those DNA companies, just the science on them alone, they don't have the databases on purpose. They exclude the databases of collections of DNA from ancient Americans in their haplogroup databases to even trace your lineage back to ancient Americans. But they do have collections of databases from Africans that they are willing to include in their system to try to trace your lineage over there. Yeah, that's what they do. But they're not going to trace, they're not going to include a database of ancient Americans unless it's tied to Siberian or Eurasian Americans. So don't worry about those DNA tests. Do your genealogy. I had a sister call me the other day. She said, "Hey, Andre," she said, "I just had this feeling I need to go down this path, this rabbit hole, and start looking for my family lineage, because I heard my family talking about we was Indian and all of that." She said, "I know you the guy to come talk to." I said, "Well, yeah, just first things first, do two things. Try to get as much information from your own family as possible. For one, for those that are still living, the elders, but they be some of them be willing to tell you." Some of them might not, but some of them might be willing to tell you. But also, too, you do a genealogy test or a genealogy search, I should say, and that's going to validate any historical records that your ancestors wrote down due to whatever surveys were going around at the time. That may be the next best thing. You're just going to piece all these things together, and you're going to begin to build your lineage, your family tree, and you're going to be surprised at what you may find. Be surprised at what you may find, right? Yeah, you're going to find out that your ancestors, was some very vibrant, traveling, and industrious people. That's what you're going to find out. Also wealthy. Another thing that you're going to find out, they have some stuff to pass down. In most cases, things were just taken, either sold off by family members who ain't had a right to sell stuff off, or just erroneously taken. One of the two. Right? But in this whole process of nationalization, we're all about going and reclaiming all of that. Right. All of that. Exactly. We ain't got no listen, fam, we ain't got nothing else left to do. So you hear my father talking about, listen, when it come to these businesses that you're trying to start up, listen, we always just have to remember you are going to when you're doing business, you're looking to do one thing primarily, which is trade USD. Let's not fake the funk on that. If it ain't no USD to be traded, you ain't got no whole lot of incentive to do no business. Now, when you're trading USD, let's just think about the magic that's being bestowed on you, the spell that's being bestowed on you. You are trying to trade an instrument for your sustainability that has a dead Caucasian man's face on it. That is a spell that you're engaging in. Look at it the other way around. If we still retained all of our nations and we were issuing tradable instruments with our face on it, and another culture say, hey, I want to play the game, how willing would you be to say, you want to get ahead and play our game and use our money to do it? Why? You ask that question. So you have to really take into consideration with this other culture, their logic and their rationale, especially their rationale tied to their survival, knowing that anything that we get involved in, we excel at. Anything we get involved in, we take over. We be the best at. Of course, they don't want to lend you no money. They know what's going to happen. They know exactly what's going to happen. And so you saying to them, hey, let me borrow some of your money and then show you up with your own money. That's what you're saying to them every time you go into a bank and ask for some money. Let me outdo you with your own stuff.
They ain't doing it.
They don't want to do that, right? They can see that.
Well,
my bad. Go ahead. I'll land that plane.
Hold your point. We're coming back. Mama Kelly had a comment, but also Mama Kelly, also tell the people, based on your experiences running a business, getting funding and financing, it's almost futile. We don't need to waste our time,
And that is very, very true. I think I started, or my husband and I started a business in San Francisco in 1982. And at that time, he was a botanist. He didn't know about money. And I was, who I am today, even then. And I certainly didn't know anything about money, but we started a business. Actually, it became very successful in San Francisco. And to tell you the truth, it's partially because of the Chinese who were coming in at that time. If you remember, Reagan, yeah, he told them that if they could bring, I think it was $10 million. This is 82, so $10 million is a lot of money. And if anybody who can bring $10 million in and start a business and employ 11 people that, they could come in to America. Now, naturally, because of San Francisco being a hub for China, the biggest Chinatown, New York, San Francisco, the biggest Chinatowns in the country. And so many came into San Francisco. And because they bought the houses, honey, they came with suitcases full of money, cash, American dollars with the white man's face on it, right? And a lot of the houses that in the neighborhood where our business was a main business artery. In fact, the streetcar stopped right in front of our business. So there were people standing around. And we had this plant nursery. And of course, my husband, being a horticulturist, and he actually went to school in Britain, where, the highest school for plant sciences in Britain. So he knew how to, choose plants and make it just beautiful things. And so we had the advantage of being there. So the Chinese were always there looking or passing on the streetcar. And after they came in, of course, they did bring 11 family members with them. It didn't work like, okay, let's hire 11 Americans. No, they brought 11 family members in with them. And so they had everybody working on whatever their business was. And so the Chinese preferred to give their business to us. And they had houses big houses with big backyards and little front yards, but they had a space for growing plants. And so the backyards are very big. Many of these people who had come out of, Taiwan and Beijing had never had a garden, where they call them gardens, horticultural gardens, sitting space and everything. And so they hired us, to actually help to decorate that new environment that they had just come into by coming in and buying those houses from I think all those houses were built for the returning the World War II veterans and for the paperclip people. Y'all know who the paperclip were, right? And many of them came in to talk to us, because you're standing there waiting for the streetcar, and we're there, and we're going to talk about, all of the plants and everything. But they also confided in us about how they came over here. They not thinking that, see, they thought that we were foreigners, although my husband was, I wasn't. But I got all the info from them, and they did prefer to give us the business. And so that's how we actually were very successful. We never borrowed money, ever. Now, we probably could have been very big if we had done that, but we never did. And so we were there and had that business. We had that business for over 25 years.
You was one of the small percentages.
And yeah, but it was the Chinese. That and I think that Trump just told them if they have $1 billion, they can come over here. Yeah, Trump just told them that. They can come over here. So, we're going to have another influx of Chinese.
Interesting you should say that, because that's one of the topics of this young China man. We're going to talk about that. We're going to play that video in just a second. So this is what we're saying. If you go and borrow money against whatever little assets you have left, or if you got plenty assets, you're going to end up, the majority of your profit is going to go to the lease for the building and the place, and if you're inexperienced, you're going to spend a lot of time in making trial and error. Within our collective, Mama Kelly, she's got a tremendous amount of experience. I have 60-something years of experience. The chairman's got many years of experience. Excuse me. When you come, the best route for our people now, other than going out and getting in debt, trying to build a market in a hostile environment where it's going to be sabotaged because they have regulations in place to make sure that you fail. But by getting you for a minimum amount of fee, get your status changed, get on the list of whatever business that you want to develop, and we will help you set up a network of whatever products and services you're going to provide to our tribal unit. That will give you the momentum, a built-in customer base, give you time to perfect your skills and what have you, so that we can critique you and you can move in the direction of doing something that you like doing. And there's an old saying, once you find something that you like doing, you never have to work another day in your life. And so, and there's a hierarchy as how that, because we're going to provide you with young trainees to train, and then it's a natural order. So this is what we have to do. By coming in and getting your nationality changed or adjusted, that gives us leverage. And this is what I was saying about Putin. You know, they issued, the United States government issued sanctions against Putin for several years, but now they done went in and got in trouble over there with this war. And
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
because that's what I wanted to say.
Right, and then they got in trouble, so they all of a sudden they done lifted the sanctions off of Putin, so he can sell oil again. That's called leverage. Right now, you don't have any leverage as Aboriginals working in this European program, trying to survive when it's designed for you to fail. They do not want you to succeed. So that, you know, but these are the things that we can start doing. When you get your status change, you'll be on record with us and all the other tribes in the Americas. We're here with some chiefs right now. We're going to be building a database and a network for you to do business without you going into debt and experimenting. I'm a third generation entrepreneur, and it's tough for me. If you're a first generation entrepreneur or you're a second generation entrepreneur, it's going to be, the chances are very slim of you succeeding. So why go into that dark forest not knowing where you're headed when you can come in and join the tribal nation for a small amount of money, just to get your status changed? We put you in a database. You tell us what you want to do. We start working on a plan to get you doing it. So, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, I wanted to say something about, you know, how and why Trump had to run over there and beg Putin, you know, to help him. Israel, should I say, Israel and the United States of Israel, they went over there messing with Iran. That's ancient Persia. Do you remember in history that I think it was Alexander the Great, or whatever they call him, the Great? They say, honey, he got his behind beat when he went over there to Persia. But he wouldn't go down into Africa because of the Kandaki queens or the Candace queens. Wow. Breakfast served. Wow. Wow.
Tribal breakfast here in South Georgia.
Yeah. Get some fruit. Maybe you might want some fruit.
Well, hold on. I mean, we just about to wrap it up. And in the middle of the show, I appreciate it. All right. So let's deal with what Mama Kelly said about us partnering with Asian. Hey man, can you play that video from March 13 about the young Asian guy? And so, you know, this young guy, this is a reflection of the new generation. Mm-hmm. They're not going along with this white supremacy, with this hierarchy of you got to sell your soul, do some hideous sexual acts to children in order to play in the game. This new generation, they're not assimilating to that. And it doesn't matter what culture. It's all of these younger people. You know, no matter what, they're not going along with this craziness. And that's what this Epstein's file, and this was the Israel, you know, and they got us paranoid to call out Israel or the Zionists. If you say something against them is anti-Semitic, that is That is the craziest pimp game you can't identify, you can't talk about the demon that has corrupted our country. They're getting welfare checks. They don't even have to work. They're getting free education, free health with our money.
In Brooklyn, they get $100,000 per family in Brooklyn, and nobody in the family works.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, I used to live, I don't know why Great Spirit put me in so many positions. I lived in a house on the Lower East Side of New York. Well, it was not a house, it was a building, a very old building, full of Hasidic Jews. My brother had an apartment there, and then when one became vacant next to him, he rented it for me. Okay? Everybody else in the apartment building were Hasids, with the all black and, with the black hat and the black.
And the bangs, the ponytails hanging out the side of the head.
See, those are what do they call them? The Tahuti, something like that. I'll think of it, the name of them, but they have some spiritual significance in our culture.
Mm.
Our culture, But let me tell you, so I did have that experience with our seeds. They do know now in that particular building, I think that they were the ones who worked in the diamond business. It was all men. There were no women living in any of those apartments, so they probably had their families tucked away in some gated community in Jersey or in Connecticut. That was very common. So, I have that direct experience with them. In every time I think about it, I say, dang, why did Great Spirit put me there? I was nothing but a child. I was 20 years old. I didn't know nothing, but it was a very, very important experience for me, direct, Mhm.
So they had leverage. And their leverage was the Epstein files. And they used it to get all of our politicians involved.
Mhm.
And now it's crazy. Hey man, do you have that video with the young Asian guy?
Can y'all see it pulled up?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
People with less technology were undefeated for 30 years.
Which major power stopped slavery first? The British.
For fucking who, when, and where exactly? Immediately after slavery ended on paper, European countries colonized Africa. It was literally called the Scramble for Africa because they were panicking that slavery ended. From 1904 till 1945, the British owned 25% of the world, and they were stealing and taking every resources and wealth they can from these colonies. The rest of the video is just some all lives matter shit that I'm not gonna entertain, but one thing before I leave. I'm not making this video to debunk this guy or to make the whites mad. I consider these people lost causes. I'm making this video for the younger generation to show you guys what the whites is really about. That this country was built with blood and bones. Because I know they're not teaching this shit in school. Black people and Asian people are meant for each other.
Can you get to the first part of it?
You say what now?
Yeah. That was good, but can you start it from the beginning?
Okay.
Because it seemed like it came in afterwards.
You mean from here?
Yeah, just beyond that. Yeah, let it go.
Everything happened in America. Let's get to hear him very well. He went viral for his videos. Drop your thought in the comment section. Then we'll come back with more commentaries.
Blaming everything on white people. Oh, you're not gonna like this. World War I, white people. World War II, white people. The Vietnam War, white people. Slavery, white people. Systemic racism, white people. Racism in general, white people. Thousands of years of Asian history being wiped off this planet, white people. Africa decentralized for decades. South America decentralized for decades. The Middle East decentralized for decades. White people. Capitalism, white people. Fascism in America, white people. Oh, look at that, you're Christian. Bet. Christianity being used to justify slavery? White people. Christianity being used to justify massacring Native Americans? White people. There's a fake Christian that sold Bibles with his own names on it sitting in the White House right now that was built and maintained by slaves. This motherfucker's white. Who led Germany during the 1930s? A white Christian. Which group of people colonized Africa? White Christians. Klan members. White Christians. St. Peter's Cross being misunderstood as a symbol of Satanism. White people. Border problems. White people. White people.
hold
The
it,
medical
man.
community being full of racist, ignorant bitches.
Okay, so there's 2 points with this we wanted to get to. We have to understand, and I gave this presentation down in a Jewish community down in South Florida, and they got actually angry with me and wanted to cancel my speech. But what I explained to them is that your soul is colorless. And you can be born into any kind of religious or any kind of system, but you have an individual choice. Just because you're born into a Jewish community don't mean you got to go along with this genocide and this domination of economic. I was born into a Baptist Christian Jesus Christ, and it took me a minute. When I figured out that the letter J was only 500 years ago, 500 years old, and the Christ was here 2,000 years, that didn't add up. I had to apply common sense. So every soul on this planet have the opportunity to apply some common sense to make choices. You know the difference between right and wrong. So when you go get a copy of our book, lucifersrevenge.net, it explains to you why Caucasian people were created. So they're more prone to being in this, but we still have people of color going along with this madness. And so that was the point, that one of the points of what I want to get about. But ultimately, you see this young Asian man, he is the mindset of the new generation. And so they are going to develop a collective order, aboriginals of the Americas, by us coming together, working. He will this young man ultimately says that Asian and Aboriginal people need to come together to shut this down. That's you find this YouTube, it'll go into that explanation. That is the leverage we're gonna get to change our position in the Americas. You're not gonna get it going and get a loan, going and get a debt, open up a business. Do it in a tribal manner. And so that's the gist of where we're headed, why this tribal system is needed. You don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about if you're
Technical difficulties, family. It looked like
Yes.
they had a little signal problems, and they should be logging back in shortly. That's all good. Let's see. Yeah. Let me check.
Maybe I should talk a little bit about Three Eye Atlas.
Let's go ahead and get it to work. Well, no, there he is. There he is coming on.
Okay.
There you go. Let's see. Let's see. All right.
Hey, you got us, man?
Yeah, I hear you.
Got you now.
Oh, okay. Chairman, I hope you went into the AI while we got cut off.
I was getting ready and then you came up.
Go ahead and finish it, and I'll conclude what I was saying about the tribal piece. Go ahead. Give us an
Okay,
update on what
yes.
AI is doing.
Okay, well, everyone knows that 3i Atlas is headed straight towards Jupiter. And right now, we've got 2 more days before it'll be parallel with 3i Atlas, you know. And this is going to be a very important time because either it's going to continue to go past Jupiter and start heading out of our solar system, or it's going to make a rendezvous with Jupiter, possibly dropping off some probes, you know, even though there's some people still thinking that it's a comet, but the way it's been acting lately, it's like 22 anomalies that scientists just can't figure out how it's doing what it's doing. But it's very important that they continue to watch it until they can't watch it anymore, or watch it when it makes its move around Jupiter. They're thinking that it's a possibility it can come even past Earth. And these anomalies are just showing that this probe, or I say probe, but I say spaceship, that it's heating up itself in a matter of hours. The temperature is changing, and we could detect that through our telescopes, where, you know, that's how we know what type of gases are around it, because our telescopes has the technology to determine what type of gas it's really presenting. And they just seen, I think a day or two ago, that the coma expanded almost, what is it, 10 times the size of what it really is. And like that's never happened before, especially with a comet. But this coma is real, and we've detected this here. So we're headed for some real interesting times in the next 3 or 4 days, because they said that in March the 16th, it would be parallel with Jupiter. And what are we? We're March the 14th. We got 2 more days. And then it's going to, you know, tell us a whole lot of what's really going on. You know, they've even said that they've seen the comet, or not the comet, but the space vehicle move to the right or to the left. Now, what does that, unless you got some type of engine, you know, that could propel this object to move right or left? What gives it the energy to increase its heat something like 50 times of what it has? You know, we don't understand it, but we're learning a lot from 3i Atlas, and it might take it to be out of our solar system before we know more, or we will know more within the next 2 or 3 days. But we just got to hang in there and be tight, and it's going to reveal a lot of things. Now, with this Keiko, Michio Keiko, the scientist, he said that the comet, don't want to lose that thought, but he said that the comet was, ooh, this is deep. Y'all forgive me for this lack train of thought being.
Well, you know, you know, after 70, we all get them brain fogs.
Hey,
Phil.
I know
But
so
you
many
have to-
people, and
but
I hate to say that it's happening to me a little bit too, and I can only feel sorry for them because I know what they're experiencing, you know. But
Thank you so much.
yes, we just have to
Yeah,
be
I
patient.
thought it
And
but you
and
know,
okay,
Okay.
well, let me look at some of the stuff I got
so,
down here.
Chairman, what? Hey,
Yes,
Chairman. So,
yes.
what comet can guide itself around the solar system the way 3i Atlas is doing?
No comet can do that. That's the point that I'm trying to make with the, you know, probe moving to the right and to the left and changing colors, you know, and increasing its heat and sending signals out. That's another thing I want to bring out. It's sending signals out that we're trying to decipher. And we've got not AI, which is artificial intelligence, is deciphering the signals that it's sending out. and it's telling us some things that, it's almost impossible for us to detect and decipher the signals at this time. But the AI is so sophisticated, it's just revealing a lot of things. But hey, I'm gonna land that plane, and next week will be more interesting because a lot of this is repetitive on what it's doing because it's moving towards Jupiter, and we know that now we're at the stage where it's going to continue to go or it's going to circle around it. And we know 100% if it circles around Jupiter that it is intelligence, human intelligence, that's causing this to happen. And we just gotta, like I say, be patient, and I'll get back with you because I'm watching it every day. There's something going on every day, but a lot of it is repetition. But they're just got a lot of stuff to explain, with the information that it has.
Well,
So
keep bringing it, Chairman, because it's a confirmation that there are other life out there. Mama Kelly, you said you got something you want to say about it?
Yeah, what we're seeing, that first signal of going back to actually understand what 3i Atlas is bringing us, which is consciousness,
yes,
an elevation of consciousness, and that's really what it's all about. And even the codes that 3i Atlas are sending, and as you said, AI is interpreting, but they
yes,
have where the first signal that they sent out back in the 70s, 80s. I'm not sure. Carl Sagan, if y'all remember him,
right. That wow
they
signal,
sent that signal out.
right,
Well, when 3i Atlas came back, it answered that. It answered that signal, and it was coming from the very same area
right,
that they sent the signal to, which is the galactic center, which they sometimes call the black hole, or they call it the black sun, and they worship the ball, the Baphomet, that entity that the Talmud, or the so-called Jews worship, especially the Zionists. It's from that area, which is, the galactic center, the black sun. So it answered that, and it made it sure that the message that they sent was in a code that could be read by the people. So that's why we know that our people here on Earth, that's why we know that the signal was sent for us. And it
right,
is a consciousness. It is a consciousness. In fact, the whole of the universe, or the whole of the galaxy, is a consciousness. And what 3i Atlas is doing is trying to get us to get them to understand that, hey, you sent us a message, we're here answering the message. Yes, we can do stuff you can't do.
right.
So please just sit down and listen like you got some sense, and let us teach you something. And that is like, hey, we got to elevate our consciousness, okay? And this is, of course, like we've been talking about, seeing that old system dissolved in front of our face. This is our time to rise. We must rise. We must take our destiny in our own hands.
Absolutely. So, when we got cut off, I was trying to get the piece out about me being born into the Baptist Christianity, worshiping Jesus Christ, and how through study and research, I grew out of that. I tell this to the so-called Jews and all the other religions. You know, just because you were born into that madness, don't mean you have to stay in it till death. You can elevate, and if you're a star seed and you were born into that collective, you are required to elevate and join other star seeds, tapping into a higher frequency, like Mama Kelly was talking, what 3i Atlas is transmitting to us. Right now, that is our backup. And when we start to demonstrate as a collective that we get it, we're going to stop dogging each other out and start treating each other the way we want to be treated. Once we just start coming in and demonstrate it, 3i Atlas was hit. Those fools that think they running the governments, that 3i Atlas will hit them with lightning bolts in their asses and move them out of our way. But we must get out of this. I got to get this money, capitalistic, do all this by enemies. It's over. It's over. And that's where we are. So, and you know, so whether you Caucasian, Asian, Aboriginal, all of these cultures got people that done bought into that madness and still trying to hold on to it. We strongly recommend that you get out of it. As a collective, to the young people, what this young Asian man demonstrated was, and he said later on in the video, that the Aboriginals and the Asians need to come together to team up on this demon, this madness, this white supremacy, this I screw you by any means necessary, you know, and that's where we're at. Hey man, can you bring up that video? There's and it's demonstrating just how crazy the madness is continuing. Now, when the military says and use that religious fake name to get them to go in and die for the wrong cause. And I tried to warn some of our young Aboriginal people, don't join Satan's army right now, and this is the result of it. Go ahead and tell it, man.
Ordained by Jesus Christ to bring about Armageddon? I believe he may bring about Armageddon, but it's not in some holy manifestation of God's will. If even a modicum of what is contained in this article is true, we have a serious, serious problem on our hands. I have, for years, rang the alarm bell about white Christian nationalism, about Christian nationalism more generally. But really, it's all part and parcel. Christian nationalism is, by its very nature, white Christian nationalism. And according to this reporting in this Substack from Jonathan Larson, who is not just some rando with a Substack, he has written for publications, he has been a journalist for a long time, he is asserting that the United States military troops are being told explicitly this is a religious war. And moreover, this religious war is intended to bring about the return of Jesus Christ.
Your health deserves more than guesswork. At Prenuvo, our whole body MRI scans for hundreds of...
Okay, so there you have it. It is old saying, everything in darkness shall soon come to light. So we now see that all these religious institutions is the root of the problem to all this murder, rape, killing, monetary dominance, and all of that. And that system is done, it's over with. And, for those of you that are starting to wake up to the reality, get involved with the nation. Go to uaarnation.org and set up an appointment to start your status correction. That's the beginning. Then there's a form that talks about what your interests are, what you want to do. We're meeting here in South Georgia right now to look at all the lands that are available to start bringing our people out from around these demons. Because if you gonna live next to them or associate with them, work with them, when that lightning bolt comes, you subject to getting hit by it too.
Yeah.
So we're creating an environment to get our children out of it. These demons not, and if you leave your children in it, they're gonna come up missing or they're gonna be mistreated. You know, so this is what the elders, all of the knowledge that we have, this is what we're gonna be teaching our children. All of the futuristic technology that's been suppressed by the United States government because they don't want everybody to have equal power, to be free. You know, all of that is going to be taught in our universities. We're not teaching any of that crap that they've been teaching for the last 400 years. That's done. So get your children involved with that. Go ahead, Chairman.
Yes, I don't know if you've heard it, but there's a retired Air Force general that was kidnapped about 2 weeks ago. Now, they won't tell you on your regular news, but it's alarming. And they say this general, that he was involved in a program studying extraterrestrials. So, you know, it's something to think about, you know, what's going on. And if you could turn your camera up 90 degrees because you're on the side angle.
Sideways. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
That better?
That's good.
Okay.
Oh, don't put it on me.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, we're wrapping up. You know, we put out of the day. I hope everybody got a gist of it. Hey, time for.
You know, I here for a day or two, and here on the tribal land of the Kitawa, Cherokee Kitawa people. Now they are the spiritual tribe of the Cherokee people. Originally in the western part of North Carolina, but the family of Chief Betty Smith, you know, of the Kitawa Nation, right here in southern Georgia, they had this land as well, and so it's a very beautiful area. Look like very good farmland. And I'm excited, you know, about moving nations together. We must feed ourselves first. Agriculture is first. Another thing that I wanted to say is that when we gathered here, you know, in the tribal house last night, there were many, many people I met for the very first time. Many of them, you know, in the 50 and people. Is that once we get into this age, we say, hey, we ain't got much time and we got to make some kind of changes before all of this stuff falls down. We see it. And because we've been through all of these other things, you know, most of us, you know, after World War II, I was even the elder there with the group last night. And so, hey, but that's good. But, you know, there was one brother who came in and he kept looking at me and looking at me. And, you know, and I almost felt uncomfortable when we sat down to talk. He came from the same county in North Carolina. He said, I look so much like his people.
Wow.
Came from the same county in North Carolina, his ancestors too. And so by coming together, we can really meet our bloodline that has been, you know, scattered, you know, hither and thither, you know, we can meet our people. And so it was a wonderful, wonderful situation. The tribes have to come together. We have to support each other. We have to be one. We must be one. And so I'll end that plane too.
All right. Hey, Chairman, do you have closing statements?
Well, not at this time. You froze.
Yeah, they froze. I think I'm gonna go ahead and
So,
You froze on us.
all right. So, okay, I don't think we. Hey, you can't hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. So go ahead and close out.
All right. I think it was a good show. I think it was a good show, even considering the segment. But as usual, this is Straight Talk Network Show, family. Peace and love. We love y'all as always, and we'll see y'all next week.
The chairman say, hey man, I'm gonna be real. I don't know if we still got.
He's breaking up. I can't really hear him. I know
All
he
right,
mentioned.
well.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and close it out. Peace and love, family. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Conversation.